Today we're in the raised garden bed, carrying our oyas. Welcome, welcome back. Welcome, Vanessa. So as you see, I'm already burying one here, and I'm going to bury four in this bed. This is a 4 foot by 8 foot raised bed. So I'm going to bury four, and as you can see, they're the size of about a liter. One tip I will give that when you are putting your soil, if you are starting a new garden bed, put your oils in because I'm finding that it's difficult to kind of dig the soil up to put in the oil. So let's put in this last one here. And it needs to be buried all the way down to the neck of the oil. Well, dirt just fall like that. See, okay, I think that'll do it. And you want to make sure that your dirt is secure around the oil. So the way the oil works is your soil around it pulls forward out of your clay pot into your soil. So you want to make sure there are no air pockets around your oil. But I'm really excited about trying these out. And I also put them in my grow bags. So I am placing the cap on the oil before I get started because I don't want dirt falling into the oil. So before you start digging, put your cap on. Okay. I will place four in this raised bed also. Sure that looks around it. And later, if I feel like I need to dig it a little deeper, well, but for now, I think that's good. And we are planting out our food season crops, our brassicas. So we're starting out with our kale. I've been traveling for a couple of weeks, so my planting is behind by a few weeks, but I still think we'll be okay with the majority of our things. In addition to the kale, I am also planting cauliflower, some broccoli, and some kohlrabi. So we'll see how those crops do. While I was away, my husband was able to get the raised beds together, which I am so very grateful. And we planted oil, as you can see, or as you may not be able to see. I may have to adjust the camera a bit, but the oils are planted and ready to go. And I have the nifty seeding square to assist us in our square foot garden method this year. I don't have the benefit of square corners, which would give me a little extra planting space. So I think what I'll do is I will start right past them, and then I'll decide what to plant in the corners west. Okay. So according to our guide for our square foot gardening method, kale takes up 1 square foot. Okay. So we'll be planting 1 kale per square foot. I have different varieties of kale, and I think I have 2 varieties. So we have the red Russian kale. No, we're going. And we also have the dinosaur. So we have those 3 varieties. I thought we planted a 4th, but I don't see. So maybe I will plant it too. So let's get started. I will need to water my garden bed down significantly. So I'm going to start here. Our curve ends here. So I'm going to start here. And actually, while looking at this looks like it will provide me a chance to put one kale in this corner here. So I'm going to move down just a little bit. And then my kale should go right here in the center. That center area denotes where a plant should go if it is one plant per square foot. Okay. So let's start with our first one. Work those roots up just a bit. I was hoping that it would rain last night, but it didn't. All right. So we'll move that down. Oops, with a little cedar. I think I'm going to try to use that to keep my place. Wish it went through there, but it doesn't. So let's put that here. And then I'm just going to flip this. And that'll help me keep my square foot. Put my label there so we don't forget which kale we have planted. And I found that it works better for me when I make a couple different labels because, as you know, labels tend to get caught up. I'm so excited about the oyas. As soon as we got the garden beds together and I was able to add the soil, I buried the oyas. And so you see our oyas are here. I was really concerned about these tops because the tops are very light. But since we have the greenhouse covers on, I'm no longer worried about them flying away. All right, let's continue on. And I think I'm going to continue with the red brush all the way down to the end. Let's put down this. See my guy there. You may not need to use a guide, but I think I mentioned I have been trying to use this method for a while, and I just could not seem to get my spacing right. But this is going to work out perfectly. We'll know shortly, won't we? We'll know soon. Excuse me. My red Russian kale has this purple in the center and it has purple stalks, so it's really easy to identify. There we go. And that is our last one. in this area. And then as we get to the ends, the bed is curving, just like that down there. So I'm going to place another kale at that end, and I'm also going to place another kale at this end. It's about the same amount of space. But what do you guys think? I think the spacing looks great. After I finish planting out the kale, the next thing I'm going to plant will be the collards. So we're going to try to get kale and collards in this wet bed. And I'll come back with you when I'm ready to plant the collards. Well, so far I think spacing is going pretty well. So I pulled out our collards and we're going to plant them next. And after the collards, we'll grab the other brassicas. We'll grab our cabbage, our kohlrabi, our cauliflower, and broccoli. And they may not all fit in this bed because they each need 1 square foot per plant. So I have another bed right behind me. So I am going to continue planting out the collards, and then we'll see where we are as far as space. But so far, the spacing is going pretty good with the grid, so I'll continue. So I think the spacing looks great. I'm questioning my own judgment because I had 2 really small plants here, one here and one here, that I planted. I think they'll continue to grow. I'm not sure. It's all kale. But I put 3 on the ends because of the curved bed. And then I was able to plant 4 in each row otherwise. So we'll see. 4, 8, 12, 16, 23, 26. So if I have optimized this correctly, I should have 26 full plants in this bed. After I finished planting the kale and the collards, I had 3 square feet left. So I planted 3 cabbages over here. And I planted them on the end, which is where I prefer to have my cabbage. So we'll see. We'll see. Now I just need to water this bed down good. Fill the oyas, which I am really hoping that these oyas are going to be as effective as I believe. I have 4 rain barrels that are set up, so I am going to use the rain barrels to get this bed nice and wet, and dip it up so I can turn up the cabbage knobs and the cabbage butterflies because I've already seen them out. Yesterday I saw them floating around. So I'm going to go ahead, water this down, close it up, and then I'll continue planting the broccoli, cauliflower, kohlrabi, and broccoli rinds in the bed behind me. Hello. So this is day 3 after our planting and filling up our oyas. We have had quite a bit of rain. So I can't say that this is a true test of our oyas because we have had rain every day, and the other day it rained so hard. But as I check the oyas, they do look like they can be filled, but there's maybe, and it's a little difficult to tell how much water is left in the oya, but it can be filled. So we're going to top off our oyas in both beds. Easy peasy. Just remove your lid and fill up your oya. You may have to pulse it a little as it gets close, so you can fill it up as much as possible. All right, easy peasy. And it looks like the cool season crops are loving this cool season weather. So let's pray for a great harvest. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, find your joy. Mine is gardening in retirement. Bye.